Hello Swatantra viewers. Welcome to English News Bulletin. I am MAHIMA, bringing you the latest updates. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Thursday hiked capital expenditure by 11% for the next fiscal to sustain world-beating economic growth rate, while trimming the deficit in a reform-oriented interim budget. It also gave relief to common man from disputed small tax demands of up to 25,000 rupees. Presenting a vote on account or an interim budget for 2024 to 25, Sitharaman proposed no changes in income tax rates for individuals and corporates, as well as customs duty. In less than an hour-long budget speech, she presented the Modi government's achievements in the last 10 years that transformed India from being a fragile economy to the world's fastest-growing major economy. She hiked capital expenditure to 11.11 lakh rupees crore for 2024 to 25 while trimming the fiscal deficit for this financial year to 5.8% from the budgeted 5.9% of GDP and further lowering to 5.1% in the next fiscal. Sitharaman said the government would build 20 million affordable houses in the next 5 years in addition to the nearly 30 million houses built already. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has presented its last budget before the country heads for general elections in the coming months. High public spending is expected to help keep India's GDP growth at about 7%. The rapid expansion has allowed the government to collect higher taxes and curb its fiscal deficit, the gap between what it earns and spends, by 0.5% to 5.1% this year. The allocation for fertilizer subsidy has been slashed by a whopping 13% to 1.64 lakh rupees crore for 2024 to 25 compared to 1.89 lakh rupees crore revised budget estimate for FY24, Congress's Pawan Khera said in a social media post.
Infrastructure development. Building on the massive tripling of the capital expenditure outlay in the past 4 years, resulting in huge multiplier impact on economic growth and employment creation, the outlay for the next year is being increased by 11.1% to 11,111 crore rupees. This would be 3.4% of our GDP. With the whole of nation approach of Sabka Prayas, the country overcame the challenges of once-in-a-century pandemic, took long strides towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, committed to Panch Pran, and laid solid foundations for the Amrit Kal. Our young country has high aspirations, pride in its present, and hope and confidence for a bright future. We expect that our government, based on its stupendous work, will be blessed again by the people with a resounding mandate.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, during her speech, said that the central government would set up high-level committee to consider challenges posed by fast-growing population. No changes in tax rates for direct and indirect taxes, including import duties. She said that government will encourage vaccination for girls in the age group of 9 to 14 years to prevent cervical cancer and some tax benefits to startups and pension funds. The government would withdraw all disputed direct tax demands of up to 25,000 rupees till 2009 and 10,000 rupees for 2010 to 11 to 2014 to 15. It was proposed to withdraw tax demand of up to 25,000 rupees up to 2009 to 10 to benefit 1 crore taxpayers. The would raise 14.13 lakh rupees crore for market by issuing dated securities during 2024 to 25.
Coming to the year 2024-25, the total receipts other than borrowings and total expenditure are estimated at 30.80 and 47.66 lakh crore rupees respectively. The tax receipts are estimated at 26.02 lakh crore rupees. The scheme of 50-year interest-free loan for capital expenditure to states will be continued this year with an outlay of 1.3 lakh crore rupees. We continue on the path of fiscal consolidation as announced in my budget speech of 2021-22, to reduce fiscal deficit below 4.5% by 25-26. The fiscal deficit in 2024-25 is estimated to be 5.1% of GDP, adhering to that path.
BRS President K. Chandrasekhar Rao on Thursday took oath as a member of the State Legislative Assembly. The former Chief Minister was elected as MLA from the Gajwel Assembly constituency in the recent Assembly polls. He could not take oath along with other MLAs in December as he underwent a total hip replacement surgery after an accidental fall. Speaker Gaddam Prasad Kumar administered him the oath. Party leaders T. Harish Rao and a host of others were present. Chandrasekhar Rao was already elected as its leader by the BRS Legislative Party leader. He will lead the BRSLP in the House in the ensuing budget session. Party legislators, former MLAs and other leaders reached the assembly premises in advance and gave him a rousing welcome.
Telangana శాసనసభ్యుడైన నేను సెల్వకుంట్ల చంద్రశేఖరరావు నేను సభ నియమాలకు కట్టుబడి ఉంటానని వాటిని అనుసరిస్తానని సభ మర్యాదలను పాటిస్తానని సంప్రదాయాలను గౌరవిస్తానని దైవ సాక్షిగా ప్రమాణించాను.
Chief Minister A. Revanth Reddy will blow bugle for Lok Sabha polls on Friday in Indraveli. He will participating in a public meeting to be held in the name of Telangana Reorganization Meeting. The Indraveli meeting assumes importance in two ways. It is the first public meeting after Revanth Reddy became Chief Minister. The second is Indraveli is Revanth Reddy's sentimental value for him. He participated in the first public meeting in Indraveli Dalit Girijana Atma Gaurva Sabha after becoming TPCC President on 9 August 2021, according to party leaders. The Chief Minister will have darshan of Nagoba in Kesalpur and conduct special pujas, and later he will lay the foundation stone for the Adivasi Martyrs Memorial Park in Indraveli. Later, CM will participate in the Telangana Punarnirmana Sabha. Already the arrangements have been made by the TPCC and erstwhile Adilabad District Congress Committee. The Congress is going to conduct this meeting to infuse enthusiasm among the leaders and cadre of the Adilabad Lok Sabha constituency. The party leaders from erstwhile Adilabad, Nizamabad, Karimnagar and Warangal districts are attending the meeting in a big way. A Maoist couple allegedly involved in extremist offences in Chhattisgarh surrendered to the police in Mulugu district on Thursday, police said. The surrendered couple are N. Bhima alias Sanju, working as section commander of the 2nd Central Reorganization Committee of the banned CPI Maoist Party, and his wife Mujki Duldo alias Soni was the area committee member. The couple, both in their mid-20s, were carrying a reward of 2 lakh rupees each on their head, police said. Bhima, who belongs to Bhadradri Kotagudam district, worked as a militia member in the Cherla area of the district in 2019 and later he joined the 2nd CRC in November 2022. Soni joined the CPI Maoist in 2018. According to police, the couple were involved in offences including Becharakumdugu exchange of fire. The couple alleged sexual harassments of female cadre members by top Maoists leaders, discrimination against low cadre in providing food, asking them to wash senior leaders' clothes and carry their bags, police said. AP Assembly. Council sessions to begin on 5th February. The Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council sessions will begin from 5th February. Andhra Pradesh Governor S. Abdul Nazir will deliver the customary address to a joint session of the Legislative Assembly and Council on the first day. The Business Advisory Committee, BAC, has to take a call on the number of days for which the session is to be organized for 5 days. Finance Minister Buggana Rajendranath Reddy will present an interim budget on 6th February. Apex Court to hear Jharkhand ex-CM Soren petition challenging his arrest. The Supreme Court agreed to hear on Friday a plea by former Jharkhand Chief Minister and JMM leader Hemant Soren challenging his arrest by the Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case. Soren, who was arrested on Wednesday night after resigning as the Jharkhand Chief Minister, had first moved the State High Court challenging his arrest in the case. Acting Chief Justice Sri Chandrasekhar and Justice Anubha Rawat Chaudhary of the Jharkhand High Court were scheduled to hear Soren's plea on Thursday. However, a battery of lawyers led by senior advocates Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Singhvi changed their strategy and decided to move the top court instead of pursuing their remedy before the Jharkhand High Court. They said that they would be withdrawing the petition in the High Court, Sibal told a bench comprising Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Misra. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta and Additional Solicitor General S.V. Raju opposed the plea of Soren, saying the High Court is already scheduled to hear the petition on Thursday. Sibal disputed the timing and other procedural aspects related to arrest of Soren and said this is a serious matter and asked as to how a chief minister of a state be arrested like this. Benchmark equity ends lower on budget day. Benchmark equity indices ended lower on the budget day on Thursday as investors opted for profit-taking amid mixed cues. After shading early gains, the markets turned volatile during the presentation of the interim budget, wherein the capital expenditure outlay was marginally hiked but there were no major announcements. The 30-share BSE Sensex declined 106.81 points or 0.15% to settle at 71,645.30. During the day, it gyrated between a high of 72,151.02 and a low of 71,574.89. The Nifty dipped 28.25 points or 0.13% to 21,697.45. It oscillated between the day's high of 21,832.95 and a low of 21,658.75. Market sentiments were also dampened after the U.S. Federal Reserve indicated it likely won't cut interest rates in March. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on Thursday hiked capital expenditure by 11% for the next fiscal to sustain world-beating economic growth rate while trimming the deficit in a reform-oriented interim budget that also gave relief to common man from disputed small tax demands of up to 25,000 rupees. She hiked capital expenditure to 11.11 lakh rupees crore for 2024-25 while trimming the fiscal deficit for this financial year to 5.8% from the budgeted 5.9% of GDP and further lowering to 5.1% in the next fiscal. The domestic market was marginally disappointed by lower than expected infra spending in the interim budget. However, the government's commitment to fiscal prudence, targeting a fiscal deficit of 5.1% for FY25, is expected to improve the outlook on economic ratings.
Infrastructure development. Building on the massive tripling of the capital expenditure outlay in the past 4 years, resulting in huge multiplier impact on economic growth and employment creation, the outlay for the next year is being increased by 11.1% to 11,111 crore rupees. This would be 3.4% of our GDP.
Union budget allocates 9,138 crore rupees for railways in AP. Union Minister for Informed Ashwini Vaishnav said that the total budgetary allocation for railways in Andhra Pradesh is 9,138 crore rupees for the year 2024 to 25. He stated that the combined budget allocation for Andhra Pradesh and Telangana states between the years 2009 to 14 was only 886 crores rupees on average. The budget allocations to Andhra Pradesh have been witnessing sustained increase, with current year's allocation being almost 10 times the average allocation done during 2009 to 14, he said. Further, the Union Minister stated that the total investment for development of railways in Andhra Pradesh is 68,059 crores rupees. He said that 97% electrification has been completed in the state. He stated that 246 kilometers of rail track is being laid in the region every year as compared to just 70 kilometers per year during 2009 to 14.
Railways. 3 major railway corridor programs will be implemented. These are Energy, Mineral and Cement Corridor. Number 2, Port Connectivity Corridors. And number 3, High Traffic Density Corridors. The projects have been identified under the PM Gati Shakti for enabling multimodal connectivity. They will improve logistics efficiency and reduce cost. 40,000 normal rail bogies will be converted to Vande Bharat standards to enhance safety, convenience, and comfort of passengers.
The Congress on Thursday sounded optimistic about clinching a mutually unacceptable seat-sharing arrangement with the TMC in West Bengal, despite TMC chief Mamata Banerjee's reluctance to concede seats to the grand old party in the state. Addressing reporters in Murshidabad district, once a bastion of the Congress, Party General Secretary Jairam Ramesh asserted that the paramount objective of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections is to unseat the BJP government at the centre. In an alliance, there's a give-and-take dynamics. The Congress is hopeful of reaching a consensus on a joint seat-sharing formula in the state that satisfies all parties involved. Mamata ji has expressed her commitment to the India bloc and we welcome this stance, Ramesh said. In Murshidabad, a minority-dominated district, the Congress presently has 1 out of the 3 seats. Regarding the Communist Party of India Marxist leadership's reluctance to engage in any coalition with the TMC in Bengal, Ramesh clarified that the representatives from the CPIM, Congress, TMC, and other parties were present in all meetings of the opposition India. Opposition comes down heavily on interim budget. The opposition came down heavily on the government on Thursday on the union government's interim budget. Congress leader Manish Tiwari said the fiscal deficit was extremely worrying. What is extremely worrying is the increasing fiscal deficit, because the numbers presented by the finance minister clearly demonstrate that over 18 lakh rupees crore is the unfunded extent of the union budget for this year, and this number is only going to increase. Congress General Secretary in charge of Chhattisgarh Sachin Pilot, while interacting with the media at the Jaipur Literature Festival, said that this was an interim budget. The budget speech was more political and had no relief for the common man. Meanwhile, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav termed the budget useless and it is not for the people. If any budget is not for development and any development is not for the people, then it is useless. The BJP government has created a shameful record by completing a decade of anti-people budgets, which will never be broken again because now is the time for a positive government to come, he said. However, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath described the interim budget as a vision of Viksit Bharat, which would serve as a roadmap for making India the growth engine of the world. Meta Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg has apologized to families whose children had been harmed by social media during a fiery hearing in the US Senate. Zuckerberg, who runs Instagram and Facebook, turned to family members and said no one should go through what they had. He and the bosses of TikTok, Snap, X and Discord were questioned for almost 4 hours by senators from both parties. Lawmakers wanted to know what they are doing to protect children online. Legislation is currently going through Congress which aims to hold social media companies to account for material posted on their platforms. Zuckerberg and TikTok CEO Shuzadai Chu voluntarily agreed to testify, but the heads of Snap, X formerly Twitter, and messaging platform Discord initially refused and were sent government-issued subpoenas. Behind the 5 tech bosses sat families who said their children had self-harmed or killed themselves as a result of social media content. They made their feelings known throughout, hissing when the CEO is entered and applauding when lawmakers asked tough questions. Zuckerberg stood up, turned to the audience, and said, "I'm sorry for everything you've all gone through, it's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered."
I'm sorry for everything that you've all gone through. It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invested so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
You know, why, Mr. Zuckerberg, why should your company not be sued for this? Why is it that you can claim, you hide behind a liability shield, you can't be held accountable? Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these
Well,
are
try
serious
this again.
issues.
Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I view my job and the job of our company as building the best tools that we can to keep our community safe.
Well, you're failing at
and
that.
Well, Senator, we're doing an industry-leading effort. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people. Will you personally commit to compensating the victims? You're a billionaire. Will you commit to compensating the victims? Will you set up a compensation fund
Senator,
with your
I
money?
think these are
With your money.
complicated- Senator, these are complicated
Yes, no,
issues.
that's not a complicated question, though. That's
Senator,
a yes or no.
this is-
Will you set up a victims' compensation fund with your money, the money you made on these families sitting behind you? Yes or no?
Senator, I don't think that's my job is to
Sounds
make sure
like
that
a
we
no.
build good tools. My
Sounds
job
like a
is
no.
to make sure that
Your job is to be responsible for what your company has done. You've made billions of dollars on the people sitting behind them. Are you here? You've done nothing to help them. You've done nothing to compensate them. You've done nothing to put it right. You could do so here today, and you should. You should, Mr. Zuckerberg.
Thank you for watching Swatantra TV English Bulletin. For a complete and comprehensive English news bulletin, please do watch Swatantra TV. This is Mahima, signing off for the day. Keep watching Swatantra TV.